Okay, good morning. Hello, wherever you are. 27 Elul. Well, a few more days. It's Rosh Hashanah. 27 Elul. From the holy teachings of the Alter Rebbe. Israel is a pasuk. Israel is Goy Echad Ba'oretz, one nation on the earth. So the Alter Rebbe brings together this, where Israel and Echad, the oneness, meaning the nation of Israel, even in the Oretz, even in this earthly world, is bound up with the Yachid. Each word, Jew, Yisrael, is a nation, Goy, in the earth, bound up with the Echad. God, and what does that mean? Operationally, that's a very nice thing to say, but what do we have? What is that? What's the experience of that? What's the avoida of that? So God transformed the spiritual into something material, right? We're one with Him. He is a transformer, a creator. He takes ruchnius and makes it into gashmius, and we do just the opposite. Yisrael takes the gashmius and turns it into something ruchnius. This is actually a mimer. The Alter Rebbe quoted this, but the mimer is brought in another place in Hayom Yom in the name of the Rebbe Rashab, the father of the Frierdiker Rebbe. It's a very nice thing to just think about. I mean, it's very, compact. Hashem is creating yesh, something from ayin. Our job is to take the yesh and reveal the ayin, the godliness within it. And in a way, that's the whole story. But there are a lot of details in the story, amongst which details will come now to the next letter in lessons in Tanya. This new letter, letter 18, begins on page 316 in Lessons in Tanya. And in Likutei Amorim, here it begins near the bottom of page Chof Vav, opposite 250. So a little introduction. Tzedakah, right? There's giving what the halacha says, and there's giving beyond, which is called mitzvah min hamuvchar, which is doing it more, but that's still within the body of halacha. A tenth is the halacha, better is a fifth. And then there's unbounded. Hesed hinam, tzedakah, unboundedness. And we spoke yesterday that unbounded chesed elicits an unbounded level of Hashem, which is the level that will be revealed in Techiyas HaMesim, when the paradox between individuality and physicality and oneness and singularity will be resolved. Somehow, in ways we brought this to the table yesterday, we can't understand today. It's not within our power to understand this resolution of the paradox that there will be the Or HaSoive, which is usually hidden, that will be revealed, and at the same time it won't nullify, because Soive is the all-encompassing in which there are no individuations, but somehow in the future that will be revealed and it won't negate the individuality. And that's Chesed Chinam, tzedakah, that's given gratuitously, with no reason, above reason. So Hashem's level of above reason will come down in La'asid Lavoi. Now today we're going to take on the same idea, but we're in a little bit different context. Think about we're going to Chesed and Gevura. These are two of the prime midos. Chesed is the root of the whole right side of the midos, Gevura the left. And Chesed has a behavior that comes from that midah of Chesed, which is love. Chesed gives forth love. The midah of Chesed is the source of the behavior of love. Similarly, on the left side, the midah of Gevura is the source of the behavior of Yira. the two levels of yira tata, the lower level of fear, or shirking back from Hashem, and the higher level of which is awe. So now we're moving this conversation down to the levels of love and fear, or love and awe. And he's starting this chapter distinguishing two kinds of love, which have been described quite at length in earlier chapters 43 and chapter 41, in 41 and 43 in Likutei Amorim. The lower level of love, which is called Avos Olam, the love that's spawned and birthed and revealed in a person from one's contemplation of Olam, Avos Olam, of the world and all its inexplicable interoperability, its inexplicable detail, its inexplicable forces that were within it, which we have a sense of, but we can't touch. All those things give rise to a sense of wanting to be close, yearning, wanting to be close to the source of it all. So the Ava, the lower level of love, Avos Olam, is characterized by yearning. The higher level of love, Ava b'tainugim, the love of delights is called, there's no yearning because you're there. You're there in the Soiviv Kolalmin, in that realm which will be revealed at the time of Techiyas HaMesim. He starts with that side of the love. Here we go, in chapter Yudches. You see, it's written, Mayofis uma nehamas Ava b'tainugim. How sweet, delicious is the love of delights. This is a pasuk from Shir HaShirim. How sweet and delightful is the love of delights. Hine beis mini avoshen. There are two categories, two kinds of love. Aleph, the top one, which we're going to talk about first, is called Ava b'tainugim, the love of delights. Why is it called love of delights? The Hainu means Aneg al Hashem oinig niflo. A person is in a state of delight, a state of wondrous delight, b'simcha rabba ve'atzuma, with great joy, a great and strong joy. You're there. You're with him. One more father and son united, and with the realization that the son is a part of the father, and that close clinging. This is called the Ava b'tainugim. This is the Simchas HaNefesh v'chalutza v'chaloisa b'taima. This is the joy of the soul, and it's yearning b'taimo and for the taste, for yearning as it tastes. Hitayv Hashem, the goodness and taste that Hashem is good. V'noim ne'imas urivas, and he tastes the sweetness of delights. Ad lahafli ma'ayin olam haba, to such a great extent, to such a great wondrousness, lashon pella, that is a taste of olam haba, the taste of the future mamish. Shenenim bo, as it says that in the future, tzaddikim nenim, they have pleasure from the rays of the Shekhinah. On this it's written, Simchu tzaddikim b'Hashem. The tzaddikim are rejoiced b'Hashem, literally in Hashem. They're there. They're in the zone. However, not every person merits this. V'zuhu b'chinas kahuna, b'ra'usa deliba. This is the level of the priest, the kohen, b'ra'usa deliba. It's also called in the language of Kabbalah, the will of the heart, reaching down to the essence of what and who we are, and that essential connection between us and Hashem realized. Not just we're trying to bring it to the forth and yearning because we don't have it, and doing the avoida. Avoidas we'll see is the second level. This is, as I said, in the zone. One is there. Through the will or the desire of the heart as expressed in the Zohar HaKodesh. And on this it said a pasuk in Bamidbar, Avedas Matana. He says, I will give you a priestly gift, a gift of the priesthood. Hazor HaKorev, and a stranger who tries to bring the offering, to do the avoid of the Kohanim, will die. So there's no strangeness here. I'm not a stranger to God. I'm not even a stranger who's wanting to come into the house of God. I'm in the house of God. That's the mashal of the kahuna. The kahuna is the one who is with God. This is Ava b'tainugim, the love of delights. Because this level of love doesn't come by trying to grasp it through the strivings of the flesh, like one does with yira, working on yira. Yira is the foundation of the whole avodah. Where when you go above, they ask, did you strive with your yiras Hashem? Did you work on it? Did you do the work? And woe to the soul who comes above and isn't able to say that and didn't strive with his yiras Hashem to come to do what Hashem wanted to do. This is written in the 16th century Musar Sefer called Reishis Chochmah. Ukasiv, it's also Yira. It's also written about Yira. Im tevaksheno kesef. If you will seek it like silver, then the pasuk ends, then you will find it. This is the lower level. This is Yira Tato, the lower level of fear, serving God for fear of disconnect or for yearning for wanting to be close. This is the kesef. The pasuk says, "Seek him like silver." Kesef is the word nichsefo v'gam kolsa. My soul desires. Kesef desires. That's the avodah what you have to do. And besides the fact that it needs great striving, great work, it's this kind of thing needs a great work, and the work is described here metaphorically like searching after a treasure, digging. Pavel, back to Avarabba, this great love, Zu, which is called Ava, which we called earlier Ava b'tainugim, the love of delights. It falls upon a person, literally falls upon a person from above, bli sheyochin, without any prep, yikavin or any directingness of oneself toward it. And it comes after you've reached the stage of what's called yira remimus. And remember, there are two levels in yira, right? Yira's chet, the lower level, and then yira, here is called yiras remimus, the exalted level, the level of fear, which we don't anymore call fear, we call awe, being in awe of Hashem. So after that, after Yirat Tato, the lower level of fear, and after awesome relationship, and the Yira Eloah is also connected with the idea of doing things lishma, doing the mitzvahs, not because you're afraid of sin or afraid of disconnect, but because you are only wanting to do the will of Hashem. And then after that, a gift can be given, the gift of Ava b'tainugim. So it's only after Yiras Haremamis, after the higher level of fear, which we call awe. And one reaches a level, and one reaches the tachlis, after you've done everything you can to reach what you're able to do on your own, with your own grasping of things. According to the level of your own soul, then Azai Memela automatically, after all the yagia, after all the avodah, Ha'ava b'tainugim, comes to a person from above, as we said, this love of delights, milamayla, from above. Lishchen, to lishchen, I think is how you pronounce it, to dwell, im hayira, to dwell with the awe that you have established. Ki darke shel ish lachser, and the expression finishes after isha. This is an expression in the Gemara. It's the way of a man to search after the woman. So to explain this is based on two drushim of two psukim. there's a pasuk which says Zecher Chasdoi, which really literally means remember his kindness or remember kindness. But Zecher is also the word for Zachar, which means man. So Chesed is the midah on the right. Chesed is the flow, the one who flows out of himself as embodied in the marital relationship and giving. That's Chesed. And this is in our mashal here. This is the man searching after the woman. The woman is the left side, as we say in Eshes Chayil, Isha Yiras Hashem. A woman is fear or awe of God. And there's a colloquial expression in English, a man searches after a woman until she gets him. Man seeks a woman until the woman gets him, because the woman, as we know, goes up to Keser, which is the crown. So the search of the man results in the availability, the union, and that union is in a manifestation of the Keser from above. So this is a simple, all of that is latent in Ki darke shel ish lachzer acher ha'isha. It's the way of a man to search after a woman, and love and fear, right? The lower level of love, the lower level of fear, the higher level of fear culminates in the gift of the union, the gift of living in the world of Soivet, the world of living in the state of Olam Haba, this future world, the world of the resurrection, to hark back to our Tanya from yesterday. And that is our Tanya for today. Now, on the one hand, you could say this is very technical, and it is, right? But he's going to now, tomorrow, drop down into the avoided part of love. The love which is not avoided at time, Ahavas Olam, because that's on the path. We're all on the path to Geula and resurrection, and we need to know how to walk it. So tomorrow, we'll start with taking the baby steps, which is the Ahavas Olam. Okay, anybody? Rivka?
Hi.
Yeah.
Anyways, first of all, thank you for getting me back into Seder. That's number one.
Okay.
And number two is, but this tells us it's up to us. It's our vote. It gives us a general impetus to say it's up to us, and we can only do so much according to, as I said, the level of a neshama, whatever. Maskil, whatever seichel we have, whatever midot we have, whatever we're given in this world by Hashem to use to develop our own abilities, and the rest is a gift.
Correct.
It comes from
That's
above.
what we're saying.
We have to, so it's plenty of voted here.
Well, tomorrow we'll get into the vote.
More so, huh?
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
we'll get into it. The plenty of it. Yeah.
All right. It's very nice. Very good. Yeah. Good.
It's a what's that? I'm sorry.
Good prep for Rosh Hashanah.
A great prep for Rosh Hashanah. There's a mashal that's a short way of saying that's brought often in Chassidus. The difference between wages and a gift, earnings and a gift, right? If you have a relationship, a work relationship, well, a boss and a worker, right? So there's an agreement to pay the worker wages if the worker does a good job. But if the worker not only does a good job, but an extra out of the ordinary job, there's called a bonus in corporate life, right? That's the gift from above. So that's a mashal that's actually brought in Chassidus. The difference between wages and gift. So tomorrow we'll talk a lot about the avoida. This gift from above, as we said before, we said it today, that you have to cultivate yira and ava tator, the lower levels, in order to get to a place where there's the possibility of a gift, not directly subject to your avoida, but out of the bounds of your avoida, come from above. And that's the mashal of wages versus bonus. But you can't get a bonus without doing the work of the wages.
But it's not a direct cause and effect necessarily.
That's what I mean. It's not a cause and effect. but that makes you
It's a
eligible.
cause and effect, but not directly. It's not, you can't, it's
Right.
not an equation that's.
No, it's something unordinary that comes, but it comes only with the preface of the avoida, but it's not directly related to the avoida. If it was avoided to, then we just raise your wages.
Never
But we're
get
not-
there,
Yeah, that's all. You just get a better salary. You won't get the bonus.
Well, I'm glad we're doing more tomorrow because so far I feel a bit flummoxed.
Oh, and the flummox? Oh,
Yeah,
what can
so
we
we'll
do?
wait.
How can we help you?
No, what can I just need to come back tomorrow.
Okay, well, we'll all come back tomorrow.
Okay.
And with that,
Thank
unless there's something pressing, we'll wind up today. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day. Bye.
You too.
So cool.
Bye-bye.